So now officially I would like to welcome at my discussion panel Contemporary Clarinet Education Worldwide, Methodology, Training System and Digital Tools. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here today, especially that we are in really international clarinet world now. So I would like to welcome Jakub Bokun from Poland.
Good evening, everybody, or good morning, or whatever.
Jenny,
Great to be with you.
thank you. Jenny Maclay. I'm not sure if I should say from USA or Canada.
Both, from all over.
Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
Griselda Giannini from Argentina.
Good afternoon from Buenos Aires. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you for being with us. And Andreas Hermanski from Germany.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening, good morning, and thank you.
Thank you, Andreas. I would like to say thank you as well for all people who wanted to join for today's discussion panel, and especially Robert Spring from USA. Robert, if you want, just join with some sentences, some ideas. We would like to know what you think as well. So it's a great pleasure that you are with us today.
Thank you. I want to say I do have to leave early. I have a doctor's appointment, but I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to see all of you. And as someone who's now retired, I find it really interesting to listen to the different ways of teaching. It's just fascinating to me.
Thank you very much for being with us. So today's meeting is not only to exchange knowledge, but as well to share experiences, compare approaches, and reflect on how clarinet education is evolving in the 21st century. So we will look at the balance between traditional face-to-face pedagogy and the new opportunities offered by digital platforms and application. Nowadays is more and more such a things which should help us. So if something exists, I think that we can use it, but it's of course a question in which way and how much we should take it to our performances, teaching, or maybe daily even practicing. Of course, because in the meantime we had as well the pandemic time like COVID. So thanks to this or because of that, there are more tools which we can use online, developed as well. And now it's artificial intelligence very famous. So I would like to take like short look into this topic as well. I hope that our conversation will be both inspiring and practical, offering ideas we can take back to our students and institutions. And most importantly, I wish for this to be a friendly and open dialogue where every perspective is really welcome. So thank you very much for being here again. And let's start. So, of course, first question. So I would like to talk with you about our traditional clarinet pedagogy face-to-face. So what do you think? What is good in this kind of the teaching, or maybe there is something to improve? What do you think about this in general? How it looks like nowadays? If somebody would like to start, we can start. Oh,
I'll go first. I think a lot of that depends. I don't know if we could use the word traditional or not, because so much depends on who your teachers are, where you are in the world. Maybe one, region, the tradition might be different than another. And I think a lot of that depends on the larger education system too. I know having studied in Europe, and in North America, there's just a different kind of background for all of that. So going through like a public band program is how I started clarinet versus like some of the European conservatory system. I think there's such a big difference that a lot of that's just going to affect music education at large, but then also clarinet education as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that, for example, if you're teaching your class now in Canada, so mostly your lessons are face-to-face, or do you use some online tools as well?
All face-to-face, thankfully. That being said, I've been teaching online since years before COVID, so I'm used to both, and I think both have their benefits and negative sides too. So I don't know if there's a better way or worse way. It's just different opportunities for different things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Jakub, I see that your microphone is on.
Yes, maybe I should mention something about the Polish system, because we are very, very generous to our students. And this is because we are operating on a very old, let's say, Windows clarinet system or whatever, because this is the system that was invented basically, I should say, after the war, that gives our students a lot of lessons with their teachers. So basically, we have two 45 minutes lessons every week, plus an extra lesson for orchestral excerpts, plus extra time for chamber music, plus sometimes extra time with other clarinet-oriented subjects. I know that some people do read adjusting or things like this, but nowhere in the world you can find a system that would give so much time to the students from the teacher's perspective, which means that lots of things are done by students together with teachers, and not just by students themselves, which of course is a great thing for everybody. For those who love teaching, it's a very special case, and it makes students' life much easier. But from my own experience, France, US, in those countries that I studied in, I would never get such generous time sponsored by the university or by the state. And this is something worth mentioning, because we are still operating on this old, as I said, Windows, but it's not Windows, it's clarinet system, teaching system. No matter what we think about the online tools, the e-teaching, e-learning, this time given to students or assigned to students is super generous.
Mm-hmm. Robert, would you like to share with us your experience from USA?
You're right about the time factor. Universities now have become huge money-making machines, and we were required when I left Arizona State, both Josh Gardner and I, we had a total of 36 students that we were supposed to see every week, and it meant that you basically had 18 hours devoted to private lessons. Then we had a studio class. Anything on top of that was very difficult to schedule in, and so we were lucky if we saw the students an hour a week in their private lessons and then in studio class. And it would have been wonderful to have seen people more. It just was not in the system and the way it's evolved now. It was just not possible, which is too bad, because it would have been nice to have spent more time. When I first started teaching, I taught for 46 years, and when I first started teaching, it was much different. We had much more time with the students. That's all kind of evolved now into a whole different process, which is, I don't know. It means you have to be much more concise in what you're saying. You don't have time to do everything has to be done in that 1 hour. And I agree with Jacob that it would be much nicer to have more time with the students. It's just financially not possible the way the university is set up now.
Robert, if I can say, I heard from your former students that you were able to come at 7 a.m. in the morning and help students to warm up. So you warm up together, am I right?
Yeah, we did that for a while. Yeah, when I have a daughter, I always joke with Jenny that she's about the same age as my daughter. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. But my daughter, when she was young, she would go to preschool, and I would take her there, which opened at like 6 or 6:30 or something, and then I would go in and we would have a warm-up class together, and that was actually really nice because you did get a chance to see everyone here. But that was all on my own time. Nobody else did that kind of stuff. That was on my own time, and I thought it really helped. It helped because you instilled everyone had an idea of what you wanted from them, and I always said that the hardest thing is opening your case in the morning and trying to figure out what to do first. It gave me a chance to work with them, talk about reads. Had different sessions and different things. Leslie Moreau was one of my students. She teaches at Boise State in Boise. Is it Idaho? Yeah. And she came in and she was doing a lot of stuff with yoga and did a yoga class and yoga for clarinets. That was really nice. Very embarrassing for somebody like me, but it was very nice. Yeah, I did do the warm-up thing for a while, and then the university cracked down on it because they said that I couldn't insist the students show up. And so that was that.
Mm-hmm. Jakub told as well very important things that we have, like in Poland, we have like individual lesson from clarinet, but as well we have a lot of additional classes. A few of them are individual, like for example, playing on bass clarinet or clarinet piccolo, but as well different one, like for example, chamber music. And I'm thinking, for example, do you have such experience, for example, to use some online tools or online teaching for more than one person? Like, because individual lesson, okay, we can meet and we can try to do something with the playing, some kind of the lesson. But what if there is, for example, music group, chamber group? Do you have such experience?
I was going to say not for chamber groups specifically or like performance ensembles. I think there's a lot of resources, and this is probably a separate topic for educational materials, but playing together, I remember we probably all experimented with that during the pandemic. I found a few that would be pretty close. GarageBand, I think, no, Jam Kazam was one that I found that if you could like figure out all the setup, you could play pretty closely with people. But that was a lot of learning just for 2 or 3 people. So larger chamber groups, not so much.
Mm-hmm. Griselda, I saw that you would like to say something, probably.
Yes. Well, my English isn't good, but I will try to explain. Here in Argentina, we try to keep the tradition, the European tradition, and I feel that we have a similar structure like in Poland. Obviously, we have a lot of problems, political problems, and it make that the education it wasn't so good. But anyway, we try to have a lesson for 45 minutes for a week, and it's is similar. And now the university is trying to give group lessons by virtual tools to all the country, and yes, it's a new way, and I am trying to teach for a few clarinet players in individual and also group lessons, but it's really difficult. This is a new thing. We are learning about that, but we are trying to do this experience with clarinet players of all the country. It's a interesting new like convenio treatment between other conservatories of the country.
Griselda, are those individual lessons or for group?
In individual and also in group.
But
and it's really difficult.
But
yes.
For group, those are like theoretical subjects or clarinet playing?
Theoretical and also clarinet lessons with clarinet ensembles. It's not so good because the quality of the sound and also the internet connection isn't good all the time, but we are trying because we have our country is really a big country, and we are trying to have connection with all the students. And the university here in Buenos Aires is an important place that we can give our knowledge, and we try to do in the virtual way, but it's not so good, the quality. Anyway, we are trying to be in contact with all the students of all the countries. And then once a month, I travel to the place to give lessons also.
Once a month?
Once a month.
Okay. So in general, it's like mostly online.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All the week online and once a month. But you have to think that for these people, it's really hard to go to Buenos Aires to study. And for that reason, we try to do something. For me, it's not the best. I prefer face-to-face, but it's a nice way of, yes.
Who would like to learn still. Okay. Oh, wow. You see such different interesting view, because I didn't expect something like that. So thank you very much, Griselda, for this information. So let's stay with this online teaching. So first, it's important to choose some good platform for that, which work the best with the clarinet playing and of course with the sound. Do you have any experience? Maybe can you recommend something? And you would like to share with us?
I remember that some people during the COVID were extremely well prepared. They had their own studios with microphones, with setups of laptops or computers. I was not. I was using a simple WhatsApp system because the sound was better than the other platforms. But I remember that somebody invented the term schizophrenia, like schizophrenia, but schizophrenia when everybody got sick of the e-learning and video transmissions, online teaching, online lessons. So I would say that keeping a healthy balance is a crucial thing here. You know, internet is a huge tool and a very helpful one. We kept many things in the internet after the pandemics, like our meeting today, which is a great thing because I'm very happy to be here with you. But I think we should be rather, I'm looking for the word here, but we should be careful with online teaching. It's still probably not the best platform for clarinet studies. Although I enjoy watching master classes of Michel Arignon from Tokyo that are hanging on the YouTube, and watching my famous colleagues giving some very helpful comments, ideas, musical ideas. So we are not quite there yet. This is my opinion about it. If I should choose, I would always choose a personal contact. I would always prefer to stand in front of the group of the people that want to learn something. And this is why I completely changed my teaching during the summer when I do summer master classes. This year there was in Ostrava, in the Czech Republic, and in Nowy Sącz. I try to teach an open class with everybody sitting and listening to each other, giving comments, sometimes going into the conversation about some problems, some technical issues, some aesthetical aspects, some musical ideas, problems, etc. So I try to be more open during the summer, and I try to teach to people that are also listening to one another. This is the way Walter Boykens held his master classes in Nice, in the south of France, when we were studying with him in the summer of '94. And believe me, that was one of the most incredible experiences for me, because the students were on the very good high level, but we shared similar problems. So learning from other mistakes was much more pleasant than learning from my own mistakes all the time.
But Jakub, do you think is it possible to use this way of teaching nowadays with students at, for example, your academy? Like open.
Yes, I would believe that the world is changing so fast that we have to accept the fact that some teaching or learning will be e-learning or e-teaching, and we will not escape this. As I said, some society changes after the COVID pandemics were kept. Today, we don't need to meet face to face. We very often meet on the Zoom platform, and we don't have to travel that much. We don't need to rent the space, the office space, so much as before. But for some aspects of the education, this is still not yet defined if this could work well or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I really like your idea, like open class, and I would like to work in this way all the time as well, because I think that it's very important, like you told, that it's great to learn as well from others' mistakes. But I see that nowadays people are very busy, even students, even they should be present at the music academy, and they should want really gain the new knowledge and new skills. I see that they prefer some other things.
You know, Robert Spring has just mentioned that a studio class is a very important part of the teaching in the US. And Robert has a huge teaching experience. He's a wonderful teacher, not only a clarinet player, but a wonderful teacher. So I believe that this is, you know, sancte parola. It's just what it is. If we don't play for each other, if we don't compare, if we don't share the artistic experience, if we don't go on stage to present what we can do, and if we are just playing our scales in our little studio, there's no way we can become a musician. The musician means an open mind, and a musician means to be able to cooperate with others. And the studio class, I'm fighting like you for the studio class to become a regular event in my teaching process in the academy, but I also find the same problems, that the students want to avoid it. Somehow they want to avoid it. Then when they are ready before the exam, they all of a sudden want to play, and they are all trying to push to play all the big programs and so on. But on the daily basis, it is extremely difficult to make them play in front of each other and to make them react
Oh,
in
yeah.
a friendly way to what they hear.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. Jenny, if I may ask you, because I know that you teach a lot online. So how it looks like from your point of view?
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I like teaching online. I still think that's no replacement versus face-to-face lessons. I started teaching online when I began my studies. So I started teaching when I was young, finishing my like high school degree. I was like 18, and I would teach people that were like 13 or 14 that were just starting. So when I went to university, I started teaching online. I had met these persons face to face, and so I would know them, and then I could continue like that. And then when I started my website, I got more requests to take online lessons. So some of these people I started teaching at different levels, different ages, all over the world. And I like it because I don't really know any other way. I started teaching my private studio all online. So I didn't have the formal teaching experience at the university that I do now. And I think there are benefits to that. I think it expands the network. If there's a teacher that you really want to study with and money is a factor, you can't go to study with this person because travel is too expensive. I think there's a lot that you can learn, whereas before you might not have had the opportunity. So I think it helps make a lot of this knowledge more accessible. But that being said, there is no replacement for that face-to-face, where you can immediately see things that maybe you don't pick up on Zoom, the subtleties, the nuances of music. So I think there are a lot of benefits to both of those, actually.
And how looks like the situation with the sound? Because, of course, for example, you can have perfect equipment, but if your student has not such a good microphone or computer or phone, what you do in this case?
I think we've all become better at Zoom. So if we have a Zoom lesson, which is the platform I use, I become very good at usually identifying the problem. Let's turn on original sound. Let's go through the audio settings. Are you doing this? So most of the time, we can troubleshoot what the issue is. But sometimes if there's not a good connection, then I'll say, let's try WhatsApp, let's try FaceTime, let's try Facebook Messenger. And that probably is better. So it's nice to have the fancy equipment and the microphones, but for my normal teaching online, I don't require students to have a microphone. Some of them do. And it picks up some of the subtleties better, but most of them, like this week alone, I've taught a FaceTime lesson, WhatsApp, Messenger, Zoom. I've hit like the online teaching bingo. So usually students have a preferred method that they like to learn. So I just go with what's easiest for them and that works. And I think all of us are what we know the differences, what could be like an online thing. Your sound is fuzzy because of a clarinet issue, or your sound is fuzzy because of a technical issue. So I think we're all probably very good at identifying that. So that being said, if there ever is something that I'm not quite sure of, I'll have the student record something. Can you do a voice note to me? Can you play the scale again, just so I can check and make sure that the sound is okay? That's happened maybe 1 or 2 times since I've been teaching online, but for me, it's no problem just because all of the levels there, some of them are absolute beginners. Like I'm teaching them to assemble a clarinet online for the first time, all the way up to taking orchestra auditions and everything in between. So I think we all just have to be flexible and technologically savvy to know like what could be a tech issue.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. Andreas, would you like to share your experience with us?
Sure. Basically, Germany is very also a very traditional form of teaching, meaning that normal conservatory or a music school operate face-to-face most of the time. When teaching basically in school, there is the case of that school is becoming so long now for the students that basically to make sure that they can get their lessons in school, that a lot of decentralization has been taking place, that music lessons have been going into the schools, so they don't have to actually go to the music school because of their late schedules. Towards a conservatory, they all have their 90-minute lessons. They all have their auxiliary instruments, chamber music lessons, theory, all of those classes. Some are also online that they have been proposing that more and more, but all the music lessons have been more still being face-to-face. What I have been sensing is that because of the a lot of changing of positions has been taking place, the professors and everything have been becoming more younger, and there's a lot of fluctuation happening, but also the presence at the conservatories from the students, but also from the professors have been becoming very everyone's been doing their own thing. There hasn't been like this gathering of being together at one place as the way when I was studying, all the professors were there, all the students were there, we were always together. Basically, it was our little niche and bubble that we always stayed in. And that has been not the case. Everyone just goes in their practice rooms, everyone just goes into their lessons, then goes out again. So you don't really see this these connections being formed the way that it used to since after the pandemic. Concerning online lessons, I've been doing some here and there, not like in the same form like during the pandemic, but some students, some intermediate, some beginner, advanced, not too much, because I personally think that if you really want to have a serious form of degree, it should be face to face. You have to have a certain give and take. But also the point of the class lessons, I think, is a very important one, because the presence you are as a teacher for the students. I usually find myself teaching way more than I get paid for, like doing extra lessons, or what we do, Klassenstunde, like a class lesson every week, where all the students come, we all play for each other, like play this etude, play this scales all together. And, afterwards they just go out and talk about clarinet stuff or music, or go their separate ways. I always find that to be very, very important part of the actual meeting, and actually talking about and expressing that everyone has the same sort of issues in literature, in music, same ideas, same form of hardships that we all go through, which is very important, that there is this mutual understanding of one another, and everyone has a certain voice that should be expressed and portrayed and given a chance to hear, and also the technical aspects, of course, be fixed. So yeah, I think there's that virtually, I think for me, I can always give a certain feedback, if especially if I know someone for a period of time, then I can give a small impulses here and there. But I've never had the experience of a full continuation of just online lessons, and to see the person. Then if I were to see them in person, how they sound after a period of time, I haven't had that experience till now. Until now. So I'm definitely, I think it will be more and more the case, but I would always propose, if there's a possibility, of course, the personal aspect should never be, should always be the goal.
The most important, yes. Okay, thank you very much. So Now I would like to ask you about some tools which we have now, for example, in our phones, like application with the metronome or tuner. I still remember when I really wanted to have metronome and tuner in one. Like it was long time ago, and I remember I received this kind of the equipment for one of my birthday, and I was very happy, and I still keep it, even it's long time ago, because I was in a music school. And you know, I see that now it's a little bit different. Recently, during some master classes, I asked one student, "Oh, do you have with you metronome?" And he told me, "Yes, yes, I have on my phone." So this is how looks like the world now. And I would like to ask you, what do you think about this kind of the tools? They are really needed or no? What do you think? Students should and pupils should use a metronome and tuner from their phone, or do you think it's distracting? Because, for example, in the meantime, they can use other application like Instagram, Facebook, or maybe others.
I'm just happy when my students use a metronome, period. I don't care where it comes from. If they're using a metronome, I don't care if they pull it out of a rock. I'm thrilled. But yes, I tell all of my students that use the metronome on their phone, the tuner, like put your phone on airplane mode, find a way to make this work, but nothing else. Train yourself to stay focused. Don't go on social media unless it's part of your designated break. To be very careful with that because I'm guilty too. I use a tuner and metronome on my phone and I try to do all of this, but of course that urge is there to go on social media, check your email, to do all of these things like that. So in a way, I guess it's good training just for work-life balance period because so much else is on our phone too.
Mm-hmm. What about you, guys? How it looks like from your point of view?
I have the same problem. It's difficult no go to Instagram but anyway it's for me it's a good tool.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For me too. I always all my students have on their phone their tuner and metronome. I don't think it's a problem. I also, like Jenny said, I'm just happy they have one and that they know what it is and how it works and how to turn it on. Um, I sometimes also when it has the features of actually like also some of these funny Instagram videos on people playing scales and they have like these other rhythm sections at the end where they have to play like certain rhythms. I like playing with that if it gets like really boring or they just like don't have find it too monotonous to play up and down and just like, hold a tempo. Or like use like a different backing metronome, like, when they have like certain beats that you can like play with, or like certain offbeat subdividing structures. I think that can be very fun and just like add to the spontaneousness of our fundamentals and to make it more interesting than doing it the same way every day. um, you know, to keep it interesting for them.
Mm-hmm. And do you recommend them to use some other application to improve their skills besides the metronome and tuner, or just this both?
If we're talking just the phone, I don't recommend, but I'm thinking of things that I've seen my students use is they use the Notes app. They keep like a practice journal or reminders for themselves to stay organized. If they have a tablet, I've seen entire music libraries on the tablet where they like open up their bass clarinet folder and go to excerpts or something like this. So it's a nice way for them to stay organized and have this all there. Writing notes to themselves. So I think there's a lot of different tools. You just have to know how you want to use it. But I don't recommend these. I think they figure things out like this because they grow up with this technology.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Andreas?
my students. Also, my students, exactly the same what Jenny said, they have their sheet music in their notes, basically, all colorful, all analyzed and stuff like that, which is really neat. We wouldn't do the same with normal sheet music because we don't want to, I mean, you know, paint over the notes. Also, I like Encodia for like modern music. It has like a lot of the modern Verlage, that they publish. Henle also has the same function. You can, when you have Henle, you can also add metronomes and that stuff, and annotations and stuff like this. Also, Tomplay I find very interesting. A lot of people use this. A lot of my younger students use this, just because they can, adjust the levels, the speed. They have a backing track so they can actually listen to it. A lot of like the younger students, I find that they can't envision the melody themselves, so they actually hear it first before they can try to play it. So I think that's a very big tool that I see a lot of young students use nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what about the artificial intelligence? Did you try to use this kind of the tool for your teaching or for preparing something maybe for your students? Or not yet? How it looks like?
It looks pretty bad so far. I've tried it, I've experimented, like give me a clarinet warm up, and sometimes it does okay. Sometimes it has like the main points, but I've also used it to test it. Like give me 5 clarinet concertos from Central Asia or something like this to discover repertoire, and it's not very good at that. So for specific things, I don't think it's very good. I have no doubt that it will continue to improve, but I use that more for things that are maybe parallel to what I do as an actual musician. Like for my website, I use it for SEO or something. After I write a blog post, I'll say, here's a blog post that I've written. Can you give me a meta description and high SEO keywords that I can use to help like elevate it in search engines or things like that? Um, because it's a fine line too. I know there's all kinds of websites now, like write a blog post. So using it for tools to elevate what I have created, proofreading could be something else, for translations, things like that. So I think there's opportunity if we use it wisely. And that's a danger too, because that's a very, very fine line of using it to replace art, which I don't think it can do yet. I don't think it will ever do, but yeah, for clarinet, it's not very good right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is something important. I want to share with you as well that a lot of people who are not musician ask me a few times, do you afraid about the artificial intelligence? Because maybe in the future you will not play concert in real because maybe only artificial intelligence can play instead of you. I said, no, 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 it's not possible. But I see that it's growing and growing and develop even more and more. So who knows how it looks like in the future?
Yes, I
Hello?
believe it's the
Yeah.
same problem with composition, because one of my students tried to write his thesis about actually one of the academy students here tried to write the thesis about the artificial intelligence as a tool in the clarinet compositions or compositions for clarinet. And the results were not very satisfying yet, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like this, because the artificial intelligence is gaining its potential and advancing very quickly. So it's 3 times the actual possibility every 6 months, which means that it's probably something that is advancing more quickly than we can imagine. As my predecessors said, we could probably use it to invent some warm-up exercises or some basic etudes or some, let's say, left-hand problems or throat notes problems exercises. But I'm not quite sure that this is the tool that is that can serve the Clarinet Society in the full measure at the moment.
Thank you, Jakub. Hello, Sauro. It's
No,
great to have you with us.
sorry, I thought it was now at this time. So sorry.
It's okay. We are from different countries, different continents. So yeah, the time it's different for all of us. So don't worry. We just talk a lot about the using internet tools and about the online teaching. So maybe do you want to share with us your experience? Maybe do you have some students which you teach only online, or maybe like half and half, face to face and online? What is your experience?
Actually, I don't have experience about online lesson because I'm not a teacher full time. So I have some students who come to deep in the professional way. So I think for me it's difficult to share online and presence lessons. Also, I don't know, but I last year for a couple of years I had a young student for saxophone, and just to suggest him to study during the week because he was young. I asked him simply to send me a video of what he was studying at the moment. So small exercises every day. He had to send me at least the study was 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So
Recordings, not
yeah, just a video. Just I watch it and 2 words of suggestion, but just to help him to study at least some minutes every day. But it wasn't an online lesson actually. So I don't have experience. But I think online lesson could work for some part of the lesson. At least my daughter is now is having lesson on Greek and Japanese, 2 different lessons, still online. So
yeah, but it's a little bit different because it's like lessons from different language. If we say about music, it's a little bit different because as we talked before about the equipment, microphone, about the quality of the sound. So there is a lot of nuances, which I think it's really hard to hear and work on that if we have some online classes. So I still agree that it's the most important for us, the contact face to face, to have a possibility to work on the details, of course.
Yeah, on the detail. Maybe you can ask to the student just to check the notes. Okay, the notes are right. Tomorrow we have a lesson online on presence to work on music. Maybe also you were speaking about artificial intelligence. Maybe it could be some tools who check your right note or not. Maybe it could be easy or difficult pieces. He tells, okay, the notes are right. Now go to the teacher to speak about music and sound and all the other things, just to take check the name of the note.
Oh, yes, yes. For example, that's a very good idea. Yes.
Yeah, because the music is another things, is not artificial.
Yes, but as for example, Griselda shared with us her new experience that a lot of her students are not able to have lessons face to face in Buenos Aires. So she worked with them online, and as well, it's great opportunity for them, because without this opportunity, they even couldn't learn. So,
Yeah.
always there are pros and cons for this situation. So I'm not sure if it's thanks or because COVID that we have this possibility and we use it. Because, like, for example, Jenny told us before, she just started to work online like long time ago. So it's a question, but maybe it's great as well that we have this opportunity as well later to watch or observe some other master classes, and, like, for example, now we meet, and maybe later we'll be more careful and more in details when we have an opportunity to teach online, or maybe when somebody asks us, okay, can we have online lessons? So that it's very, very important. And I would like to ask you last question, and I would like to ask you as well to imagine the situation that, for example, in 20 or 30 years, still we keep our teaching, clarinet teaching. How could change the education? What do you think? What could change, and which way they will still keep this face-to-face learning, or we do more online classes? It's not about the dreams, what we would like to have, but how can it looks like?
I think maybe more useful tools to check things, to help studying, to improve our self-teaching, our self-studying, or I suggest to a friend who was creating like in a shop in Rome. They want to make new rooms to go to practice and rent rooms to practice. Maybe instead to have each of us the microphone and good monitor and all the other things, maybe could be some studio recording that rent for 1 hour for lesson. For the teacher is in Rome and the students is in Milan, but with the best microphone, best tools. Instead, each of us need to buy and to learn how to use, to create some professional, maybe even university could invest in studio setting to have the best possibility to have online lesson.
Thank you, Sauro.
No, I don't, but really, ideas, this is most important, and ideas travels. Sometimes teacher or musician we speak, oh, now it's possible to have everything, but new people doesn't know nothing, but musical ideas used to travel also in 400 years ago at the same velocity than now. So it was slower, but so I think we can be positive. It won't be worse, but only could be better, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Probably, really, what the meaning of the music? For me, it was the pandemic period when a lot of us. I did just one or two but to play together with a cappella, with a metronome. I think that killed the music, because we used to play on the metronome and not listening to the other. So it was a really mess. And I think my idea after pandemic is we don't have any more to play with a metronome, because we have lost we have lost. I think we have to learn the word rubato, and the rubato is the swing of the classical music. Jazz has a swing, and a classical music has another swing. So we cannot make music with the metronome. So online, but with not a metronome, because in the studio recording also, when in Roma, part of our job is for music, for films and recordings, and there is a click like a metronome, and your 90% is on the click, just to be precise, but there is no swing. This is what we have to
Not
don't
kill the
miss.
musicality, not
Yeah,
kill the emotion in the music.
So online, okay, but really music is on live.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you, Sauro.
Okay.
Who would like to share?
I think, Barbara, going back to your question about 20 or 30 years, what I would hope would happen is that we still predominantly teach online, but maybe there will be more resources. So the internet is becoming more and more a part of most of our lives. So that's now some form of a library, essentially. So all of us, we share our knowledge, our specialties, our unique skills. And then in 20 or 30 years, it would be great as a student prepares for their lesson, whether it's online or in person, where they do their preliminary research, they're practicing the Francais concerto, and they say, I wonder how you finger this note, or, how should I do this? And they can listen to recordings, they can read articles that people have written about it, they can find misprints, corrected editions and things like that. So just as another tool, I don't think we should replace in-person lessons with online by any means, but that you can find a way to use both for the student's sake, to have more information available to them, to make it easier to do their part. So when they come into lessons, you can teach however the teacher wants to.
This is, even now is possible. It's more easy to have translation of books.
That's true.
That's a artificial intelligence help now, even now, to translate easily a book in other languages. So could be even easier, I think.
And I think it's good too, just all the resources, and how one thing that seems like it's come out of the pandemic is that the online community is closer. Before, we definitely didn't live in the same way, of course, that we did during the pandemic, but because so much was online, a lot became less formal. So maybe social media replaced email. I know, just for example, I had a student that was working on the second concerto by Oscar Navarro, and I've never performed this before, so we weren't sure if this one note was an A flat or an A natural. It was unclear. So during the student's lesson, I sent Mr. Navarro an Instagram message, and he wrote back and he said, oh yeah, that's an A natural. So using it as a tool to do things like that, I think is really nice. Just the community not being afraid to reach out to people, like having information or access to that information or to the people to find out. I think that's incredibly valuable.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Yeah, sure.
And what do you think about lessons like connect communities and connect different universities? Like, for example, I'm in Krakow, and I don't know, like once a month or once for half a year, we can do some online lesson with some professor from other universities, for example. So thanks to the students, don't need to go to another country and spend money for travel, for hotel. Just we talk about this. But still we have a contact with other exercises, other view for music, other interpretation. Of course, we are probably not able to do some small details, but still there is contact with somebody else. What do you think about this? Is it possible in 20, 30 years, or maybe even sooner?
I believe it's sooner. This is something that awaits us soon. We were talking about the possibilities of the 5G network. A couple of years ago, when the 5G internet network was not available, everywhere, we were talking a lot about advantages. Maybe some people were also talking about disadvantages of this new network, and now we can have a team of surgeons operating in Tokyo, and the patient would be lying in Krakow or in Warsaw. And with the 5G technology, they can make a direct robot operation with this Da Vinci tool, even on long distances. So I believe this is the same for our clarinet world, that soon we'll have the network of the universities, of the institutions, cultural institutions, that will bring the possibility to teach this way to a relatively small group of people, I mean students, because the body of students is shrinking every year. We can see it in Poland quite well. I believe that many young people see the difficulties of being a classical musician nowadays, and they choose also another topic of studies. Even if they study clarinet, they follow other studies in the same time. And of course, this is something that is quite rational. But I'm very happy, Basia, that you mentioned this idea of communicating to the larger body of people with the network, with the tools that are available, like the Zoom today. And I think this is really our future.
Thank you very much.
I want to jump in because Jakub, what you said is really interesting with the 5G. I've read about similar things where with piano, they have it where a pianist can play in a different continent. They have somehow they are synced together where someone could do that. And so I think it's only a matter of time until we have clarinets that can do that. You know, instead of Zoom lessons, you know, maybe like a hologram guest appearance or something like that. I think, you know, there's so many different opportunities. Good, bad, terrifying, all of the above. We'll see what's going to happen, but I think also is in the intent and how people use these, how we decide to use them as clarinetists.
Kind of scary, say too. Yes, kind of scary. Sorry to interrupt.
It is terrifying.
Big time.
Yes, yes. Somebody would like to add something? No. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. It was very interesting to see your different point of view. So sometimes we met some opinion, no, online classes, or yes, it's a good way of teaching. So even now I feel that we met in the middle. So I think it's great because still some tools needs to be developed more or needs some improvement. So I believe that in 20 or 30 years, it will change a little bit, but in a good way, that we have more tools which can help us to be even better teachers, better professors, and as well it will be great for students, so they can benefit from the artificial intelligence and as well from some application which could help them, for example, spend less time for practicing clarinet, and maybe thanks to this in the future, being a musician and studying music will be as well I don't know how to say, will be more prestigious as well, or more common for students. So I believe that it could change in a good way. If you have some other question or some would you like to share with us some different point of view or something was missing? So now there is a minute for that. So if somebody would like to say something, just it's open. No, okay.
No, okay.
So maybe for the end we can smile, and I try to take a picture. Jakub, where is your clarinet? I saw you kept it. So
Yeah, I had to practice a little bit. So if you like it, I can have it here.
okay, so let's smile. Okay. Let me check. Ah, okay. Just in case, let's do another one. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara, to set up this.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you very much. It was great to
Thank you.
see you, to hear about your experience, your point of view, and I hope we see for our next time, so next discussion panel exactly in 1 month.
Thanks for this network. It's a pleasure, fun, and see you all again.
Ciao a tutti.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Sorry
Bye.
again, I was late.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Thank you.